Hi, my name is Clary Franko, and I'm a solar community organizer with SunCommon, and I love solar, so that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. Let's start with, so my background is that I grew up in southern Appalachia, where nature was my playground, and what I saw from a young age was that mountaintop removal, which is a really horrible method of coal extraction, was blowing up the mountains around me. So from a really young age, I knew that the way that we produced our power was really important, and I also grew up in a solar-powered house, so I was really fortunate in that way. So I devoted myself to environmental organizing for the since I got out of college. And so I've been running a lot of campaigns, a lot of anti-campaigns, and now I'm really excited to be working towards something which is solar in Vermont and how we can move the state forward with our clean renewable energy. So 19 of us came together to start SunCommon with varying backgrounds and lots of different interests, but with the main mission just to really increase solar in Vermont. And so what we've done is we have negotiated a solar lease where you pay no money up front and then monthly payments that are equal to or less than what your current utility bills had been. So don't worry, this isn't a sales pitch, that's all I'll say about that. But the basic gist being that suddenly more people can go solar, and that's what we're really working towards. So I'm going to actually, this will not be as visually pleasing as the rest of the presentations, but I'm going to work through this using numbers and kind of key facts. So bear with me as I work through these. So the first number, in just a second, is going to be 14.6, and so this is just to talk about climate change is happening. It's something that we're seeing all around us. Thought about using 350 parts per million like Bill McKibben did to talk about climate change, but 14.6% is actually the amount that snowfall has decreased in Vermont in the second half of the 20th century. So this is just huge implications for ski season and everything else around us. 10% is the decrease in the length of the maple syrup sap run per year. And so this is actually in the last 40 years, 10% decrease. So another thing that Vermonters hold near and dear to ourselves, that's something that's slipping away with climate change. So a lot of people think about it and they're like, solar in Vermont, this is a little bit crazy. This is not the sunniest place around. But fun fact is that Vermont actually has 83% of the solar capacity of Miami, Florida. So don't worry about it, we're good to go. Fun fact is that solar actually produces slightly better at cooler temperatures, so that's one little perk for us. So from the Vermont Energy Atlas, I got this number, 10.9 megawatts, which is how much current installed solar capacity we have in the state of Vermont, which I know that's just kind of a random large number. But I actually put this up here just to show that it's not that large of a number. Compared to the electricity that we use in the state, this is really small. And this is a kind of a rough estimate, but it may be only 0.5% of the capacity that we have to use solar in the state. So what I'm pointing out here is simply that we have a long ways to go. There is one main, so yeah, what I'm asking myself here is like, why isn't there more solar in Vermont, right? Like, we love clean renewable energy, why are we not moving toward this? And there's been one main reason throughout time, and that's that it just costs a whole lot. It's really hard for us to do that as individual homeowners. What we've done is with this new lease that's kind of popping up at different places throughout the country, and then we have right here in Vermont, solar finally actually costs you less than or equal to $0 compared to what you would be paying anyways. Basically, it's just meaning that you don't have to put in a ton of money up front, and then every month you start saving little bits over time. And there's lots of different things that make this work in the state. So 20 cents per kilowatt hour is the amount of money that you get per kilowatt hour from the utility companies. And this is a really cool thing that happens to be that power is most expensive for the local utilities to buy on really sunny days in the middle of the summer. And that also happens to be the exact same time that solar is overproducing. So it's a perfect combination there. So they incentivize us going solar. There's also federal and state rebates that come up to about 45% of the system cost, which is just an awesome thing that it doesn't have to come out of our pockets, almost half of the actual system that you're putting on your roof. 3% is how much utility prices tend to increase every year. So, when you're thinking about the cost of solar, it actually becomes, you hardly can afford to not go solar if you think about the fact that utility prices are going to keep increasing every single year. Whereas with solar, you know exactly what you're paying, and you lock in your rate and you pay for it up front, or however you choose to do it. So 16%, this is kind of a random number, but while sleuthing around online, I found that back in 2009, utility prices in the state of Vermont were actually 16% higher than the national average. So this is just to say that we're really paying for our power around here, and maybe looking toward renewables like solar is one of the ways that we can stabilize that and bring it down. So now, 1,000, this isn't to tout SunCommon in any way, but this is just a really exciting number that I wanted to share. So since we launched just 2 months ago, we've actually had 1,000 people sign up with interest in going solar to have their roofs assessed. And this is just an awesome example of how people are jumping at this opportunity now that there's something like this available. 60% is the percentage of those roofs that are viable for solar, so people that are really moving forward with the process and looking into it, which just shows, kind of great potential for moving into the clean energy economy right here in Vermont. And so 20%, this comes from Repowering Vermont, was a report put out by VPIRG a couple years ago with the idea of when we get rid of Vermont Yankee, how we can move toward a clean energy economy. And 20% is where solar is gauged. So 20% in 20 years is how much our electricity is going to be coming from solar, which is an awesome number to be working towards. And then last thing, kind of 3 keys on why I think solar is really, really awesome. So for us, it can save us money. For the state, it's energy independence, freedom from other sources, and then for nationally and for the world, it's there's no carbon in it, so an awesome way to go. So hope that wasn't too much of a pitch. Thanks for listening.